Hey guys, sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was trying to put the kids to bed and then I was going to try and use my computer. Um, that way I could hopefully see uh, any of you guys' comments. But um, the lighting was absolutely terrible and I am confined to the basement right now because I don't want to freak out anybody upstairs and have them wake up because them being both kids being in bed and being asleep before 8:30 is like a freaking rarity. So I'm milking this. So anyway, I wanted to get on tonight and just try and I guess share my story of our blended family, my experience with blended families, and where we're at now, some of the things that I've done that I maybe shouldn't have done, because blended families are ridiculously hard. You have these boundaries that you're supposed to follow because you're not their quote unquote parent, but you're supposed to treat them as if they are your own children. So, with that being said, I hope that what I have to say tonight doesn't offend anybody, but it's my truth, it's my story, so I guess take it for what it's worth. So, that being said, my parents divorced when I was 7, so I grew up in a blended family. My stepdad and my mom got married when I was 10, and he is by far one of the best men that I know. He's giving, he's loving. He doesn't treat me or my brother any differently, even though my brother is his biological child. He's just a genuinely good person. Would I say that 15 years ago? No, I wouldn't have, because 15 years ago, I would have been like a teenager. So I was very much like, he's not my real dad. I never ever said that to him though, ever, because I feel like that would have been a total slap in the face considering everything that he did for me. But those thoughts did come into my mind. I'm like, who are you? Like, what gives you the right to tell me what time I have to be home or who I can and cannot go out with? Or, so it's like, what gave him that right was that he was my stepdad. But I didn't see it like that then. Everything that he did for me was just that. It was for me. It wasn't that he did anything to me. He wasn't mean to me. He was a disciplinarian. He was very much the disciplinarian. He was a long-haul truck driver, so he was on the road typically like Monday through Friday, and then he'd be home on the weekends. But the problem with that was I wanted to do fun stuff on the weekends, fun stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing. So he didn't hesitate to call me out on my shit. And that bothered me, I guess, because I still believe that was primarily like my mom's role. And she did play that role, but she was by far the more lax parent out of the two of them. So I grew up that way, I guess just kind of with this mentality of that's what a step parent is, I guess, maybe. Even though I didn't feel like it should have been that way. Now I wouldn't have changed it. I mean, I think that our relationship, mine and my stepdad's now, is far better than it's ever been. He's wonderful to me. He's wonderful to my kids. He's, like I said, just a genuinely nice person. That being said, I've been with my now husband. We've been together for like 9 years. We haven't been married for that long, but we've been together for 9 years. So my stepson, I've been in the picture with him since he was 3. When I came into the picture, there were, I wouldn't say like major behavioral issues, but like hitting, kicking, that type of thing. But it was going unpunished, I guess. And initially I didn't take that on. That wasn't my role. I didn't have a relationship with Eli, my stepson. even play that role if I wanted to. So as things progressed with my relationship with my husband, there were boundaries that were set when he would come over to my apartment, or when he came over to my house, or whatever that was. It was, that's not going to be tolerated here. And it was very much respected on Eli's part. Once Jason and Eli moved in, that's when things kind of started to deteriorate, I guess, because my home was now our home, and I took on the role as the primary disciplinarian. I would call him out on his shit. I would tell him to knock it off. I would tell him that it's not acceptable. Whether it was behavioral issues, academic issues, anything like that, that became my role, and it never should have been. With a blended family, it's just so freaking hard and tricky, and there's just so many things that you have to tiptoe around, and it's tricky. So that's where I've been essentially for the last 8.5 years. I was always the hard ass. I was the one telling him to do his chores. I was the one making sure he did his chores and not half-ass them. If he half-assed them, then I'm the one telling him, you need to redo it. I need your help with this. Did you get this done? How are your grades? Checking up on his grades. But then I'm the one who's also telling him, I see that you have a C in math. What are you going to do to get it up? And since that's been my role in his life for so long, he hasn't expressed it to me verbally, but I think it's pretty clear that he has become rather resentful of me because of that. And I can see that primarily because I started going to counseling probably 6 or 9 months ago. I don't know, just about all of this, because my relationship with Eli is a major stressor, and I wouldn't say my life, but it does create a lot of turmoil, I guess, in my marriage, because I have a really hard time with Eli, because he doesn't respect me. It's not even a lack of respect. I think that can kind of be taken with a grain of salt. Like what exactly can you expect for respect from a 12-year-old? Well, when things have been thrown at me, when he's tried to swing at me, stomping through the house, slamming doors, that's a lack of respect. So that's kind of where our relationship has been. So in order for me to expect my husband to step up and take on that role, I have opted to take a step back, which is what I think I should have done a really long time ago, and maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. But that's also caused some issues in itself, because what's maybe how he is being disciplined isn't how I would discipline him, or whatever that may be. But as the step parent, looking at it from a broader perspective outside of just my own experience, I have to accept, and step parents should accept, that it can't always be our way, I guess, because realistically it's not our role. I mean, I firmly believe that if a kid is acting like an ass, whether it's my girls, my stepson, whoever, and I'm not saying it, then hell yeah, tell them to knock it off. I mean, I believe in this whole village of, or the concept of it taking a village to raise kids. I can't be everywhere at once. So if my kid's acting like an ass, I want you to tell me that they're acting like an ass, or tell them stop acting like an ass. So that's kind of where it all kind of came from, I think. When I when I started into this relationship and when things progressed how they did, it was kind of like, well, if nobody else is going to discipline him, then I will. And I wouldn't say it initially started with disciplining, but absolutely saying, you're not going to act like that here, or you're not going to act like that towards me, or, whatever that may have been. But it progressed, like I said, into that primary disciplinarian role, which I hope that at some point in his life, he will get to the point where I am with my stepdad and realize that I'm not doing this to you, I'm doing this for you. And I want what's best for you, and I know that you can do better than this, which is why I push. And I push hard, and I'm a hard ass. Total hard ass, whether it's him or the girls. I don't care. There's expectations, I guess, that I have. And I expect you to meet those expectations, because I don't think that those criteria, I guess, are too high. Be a respectful human being. Don't throw objects at me. Don't swing at me. And we'll probably be okay. So that's been kind of my experience. And by taking a step back, it's been insanely hard. So I know some moms that I've talked to through this community and just on my own personal group, I guess, is that taking that step back can be insanely difficult. And it was insanely difficult for me because part of it was just letting go of that control. And I will fully admit I have control issues. So letting go of that control and letting Jason be that primary parent when Eli is here has been crazy hard, but it's now, I think it's slowly helping my relationship with my stepson. There's still so much further we need to go. I mean, it's still pretty strenuous, but it's at least his dad taking on that role and not me so much. There'll still be times where I will ask if he did what he was supposed to do, or stuff like that. But I'm not the initiator of it. I may be the follow-upper, if that's even a word. I'm gonna make it a word right now. But I'm not that initiator anymore, which is nice. It's hard, but it's nice to a certain extent. But I guess that's kind of where we're at today. And part of me taking a step back, and I'm like contemplating on whether or not I should even discuss it, because it's such a hot topic, I guess, at our house. But part of me taking a step back was telling Jason, Eli doesn't respect me. He doesn't listen to me. He's proven that he is not a good influence on primarily Lennox. I mean, Lowen doesn't have a clue what the hell's going on. But, so just because I work from home does not mean that it's my responsibility to take care of him during the summertime. Typically they split summer breaks. So I told Jason, it's okay if he's here, but you need to be here. If you're not going to be here, you need to find somewhere for him to go, because it's not my job to take that on anymore. I've taken it on for the last 8.5 years. I'm not doing it. And it's created some stress, some resentment, I think. But it is what it is, I guess. I don't want to budge on it. I don't want to give in. I don't want to just say, okay, fine, just to make life easier. Because the only person that would make life easier for would be Eli and my husband. And right now, this kind of goes back to self-care. I need to think about what I need and what I can take on. And I already have 2 little kids at home with me all day, every day, when I'm trying to work a full-time job. Adding another child to that, who not only is just adding another child, but adding another child who doesn't listen, doesn't respect me. I don't even know if he likes me, to be quite honest. It's not something that I'm okay doing right now. So that's kind of where we're at, and some of the steps that I've had to take being in this blended family, and kind of putting myself in check a little bit about what my role is. And my role is still to be his stepmom and to love him and to care for him no matter what. But I also don't need to be that primary person. He has a mom, he has a dad. They are full of love for him too. He has a stepdad who's full of love for him too. The kid is certainly not unloved, but I think that I needed to distance myself a little bit from that. So I hope that maybe somebody can relate to that, or either that or I just look like the fucking evil stepmother, which is okay too, I suppose. But it is what it is. It's just kind of where we are today, or right now anyway. So with that being said, one thing that I did see today that I almost shared on the page was that apparently Budweiser has like this stepdad commercial coming out, or is out already, I don't know, in honor of Father's Day, and how I didn't even watch it, so I guess I can't say too much about it, but somebody had said, like, I'm not crying, you're crying, one of those things. So that kind of like struck a chord with me a little bit, because having a stepdad, like, I know that just a step parent in general, like, you don't have to step up when you're in this situation, I guess. I mean, to meet the social standards, you're supposed to, and that's life. But I thought it was interesting that they made a commercial kind of bragging about stepdads, but where were the commercials for Mother's Day for us stepmoms? Maybe that kind of goes back to the I don't know, I feel like moms, it's our duty to be a mom. And then when you get a really great dad, then it's like, holy shit, mark it on the calendar. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting off track. So anyway, that being said, I think I kind of touched on everything that I was going to touch on. I'm sorry again that I was late to talk tonight, but I'm going to try and figure out this whole comment situation on here. So that being said, I guess if you guys have any questions or any comments after watching this, drop them on the video. I'd be more than happy to either hop back on or just answer them within the comment section. That's completely fine too. But I just wanted to kind of let you guys know my side of the blended family piece, and why I also don't really talk about Eli much. He's really only here every other weekend, and some weekends he chooses not to come. So, like, just not last weekend, but the weekend before that, he was supposed to be here and he chose not to come. So his presence here is rather sporadic. So a lot of the funny stories or the topics that we talk about, I guess I primarily think about those in real time. So they're primarily going to focus on the two girls, just because that's who I'm with all day, every day. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope I didn't come off too crazy, evil stepmother. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.